Hey lovelies, long time no talk. I am almost 3 weeks postpartum when you guys are seeing this video. And I assure you that I'm going to be doing a birth vlog, and I'm also going to be doing a 1 month postpartum update to give you guys an update on what life has been like, what happened with my labor and delivery. If you guys follow me over on Instagram, you'll know a little bit already, but we did have our baby on March 20th, and life is so chaotic and messy right now, as you can see from my background and the way that I'm looking, but it is also super, super beautiful. And things didn't go exactly as planned in regards to my labor and delivery, so life didn't get started exactly as I thought it was going to be. Like, I didn't have everything together when I came home as I thought it was going to be. Recovery has been a lot different. So we've been kind of rolling with the punches, and physically I'm hoping to get back to feeling myself like really, really soon. But I do want to film a video for you guys sooner rather than later. Actually, 2 videos for sure I want to film this week. The first one that you guys are seeing today is the what's in my hospital bag video. I'm actually going to review what I packed in my hospital bag and in baby's hospital bag and tell you guys what exactly I used for sure, what I think is important for you guys to have, and I'm going to add in a few tips specifically regarding the fact of a lot of people's lives, which is giving birth in a pandemic, and anything extra that I think you should throw in because of that. So if you guys are interested in seeing this video, definitely stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love to have you as a regular subscriber of the Sykes Fam channel, so be sure to hit the red subscribe button down below before you guys leave. Give this video a thumbs up so I know that you guys love it. And the second video I'm going to film and post for you guys this week is a last minute Easter basket haul for toddlers and for infants, because life again has been coming at me fast, and I've had to put together a lot of things last minute for the Easter bunny. And I know Easter is just like so different this year compared to how it is normally. Obviously, a couple of you have reached out and said that a Easter basket haul or a pack my Easter basket with me for last minute type stuff video would be helpful, so I do plan on filming that hopefully today as well, and hopefully I'll be able to actually wash my face before I film that video. I do just want to first say I apologize to those of you who have already given birth in between when I gave birth and now, because I did have some of you reach out to me directly on Instagram and ask in regards to my experience at the hospital during the pandemic, and if there was anything specific that I would have you add as extras. I tried to DM you all back individually because I knew it was going to take me a while to film this video. But for those of you that are still pregnant or just interested to know, I'm happy to be finally sharing this video with you guys, because I do think giving birth in a pandemic threw a huge curveball into our plans, and there's a couple extra things that I think that were important to have with us that maybe are not as important during regular office hours. I do plan on leaving a complete comprehensive list for you guys down below, because what I'm going to be sharing today is things that I use, things that our baby used, things that we really depended on. You guys might be completely different, so I packed a pretty comprehensive list in general, but I'm really going to focus on the things that we for sure used in this video, just to give you guys kind of a quick look at what was most efficient for us to pack. I actually focused on a couple different lists from Pinterest, my previous experience, and combined that all into one and created my own comprehensive list. Maybe I'll do a blog post about that. Who am I kidding? When would I have time to do a blog post about that? So I'm going to start out with my bag. I did do a huge drive up order to Target for all of my essentials, like toiletries and stuff. And let's see, I'm just gonna start jumping in here. I did take a shower in the hospital. I would have taken more showers, but I ended up having a C-section, so it was really hard for me to get up and out of bed at first. So I did take my own products because our hospital doesn't supply you with anything. I think that there was a bar of soap that I saw after the shower, but I wanted to shower in full, so I brought my own travel sized shampoo and conditioner, I got like the cheapest kind you can get. And then I also knew Donald could use some of this if he ended up showering, which he did. And then I also got body wash, a travel size body wash, just the cheap kind. And I also knew Donald could share that as well. I will go ahead and link as many of the things that I can that I specifically used down in the description box for you guys as well. I did buy my own like toothbrushes, these really cheap toothbrushes from Target. They're like $1 for 2. I got these for me and Donald, but we didn't use them. I actually barely got out of bed, and I was so thankful that my mom packed us these like flosser things, and she also packed us those disposable toothbrush things. I'll link them down below for you guys. I just never was able to physically get up as much as I wanted to brush my teeth. So having these on hand was so helpful. I did bring a face razor because I have some like extra hair all the time on my face, and I made sure to remember to bring this so that I just felt most comfortable when I do that. I did bring in a travel size unscented body lotion, and I didn't end up using this. I ended up using the Aveeno big bottle that my mom gave to us. She made us kind of like a care package to take with us, full of lots of stuff, and one of those things was a full-size bottle of lotion, and it was just easier to have out to pump. Both Donald and I used it, but in general, definitely lotion we used. Air was just so dry in the hospital. I can't even describe it to you. My lips instantly became chapped like day one. I was constantly using chapstick, so I was so happy to have a chapstick. I'll share with you guys which one I used here in a second. And same with the lotion. So the air is just so dry. You definitely need to take care of your skin because it gets to a point where it's like uncomfortable. At least it wasn't our experience. So same with moisturizer. I did actually use moisturizer. I brought these micellar makeup removing towelettes by Burt's Bees. This was a travel size to kind of cleanse my face outside of when I took the shower. And then I also did bring my own moisturizer, which I just got some cheap kind, a travel size. This is Bliss cream to water hydrator. So I did actually use moisturizer because it was so, like I said, so dry. I also brought a travel sized deodorant. The reason why I bought a bunch of travel size stuff is because I hoped to have an experience where I just had to grab my bag and go. If you guys aren't concerned about that, and if you just want to like slowly pack your bag whenever you're ready, whether you're having a planned induction or whether you go into labor and you know that you're gonna like give yourself some time to slowly pack things, then maybe you don't want to have the expense of buying a bunch of travel size stuff that you use once or twice. But for me, it just helped to know that I had everything packed already and I didn't have to have a huge last minute list to focus on. I do think this stuff is helpful, especially in the first few days of breastfeeding, because your nipples can have like this transition period. For me, there's some bleeding, there's some peeling. It's not a very pleasant experience. It's a painful experience. And it's not a latch issue. It's not an actual like function issue. It's definitely just a transition period for me. At least that's my experience. However, if I use too much of this stuff, my baby is just like turned off from breastfeeding. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship, but I definitely would recommend having this on hand in case you want to have that opportunity to use it. I will say though that the hospital can give you some lanolin, or I think they also have another more like extreme hydrogel patch type thing if you have a more intense experience. This is a perineal wash bottle, so they will provide you one of these at the hospital, but mine is like, in my experience, the one at the hospital is so jankety. This one's so much nicer. It comes at an angle for you and it's just easier in general for me to use. I definitely say you need this if you have a vaginal birth. For me, I didn't have as intense of a bleeding experience this time around because of my C-section. Thank God. That I didn't have an intense bleeding experience, but in general I do think that this is helpful for everybody, especially at least in the first couple weeks when you're trying to stay clean, and if you want to do it in the most convenient way possible. My experience is to go with the Frida one. I did bring a bag of makeup, but I never used it, like ever. I didn't use any of it ever. So that is definitely a personal experience. If you guys are in a situation where makeup makes you feel better, that's awesome. Like, bring makeup. I brought makeup because initially when I packed my bag, I thought I was going to be able to have a photographer there. But because of the pandemic, I wasn't allowed to have anyone outside of my husband. So I didn't end up using makeup. And then also because of my experience, it was just so different than what I expected it to be. I didn't feel physically able or wanting to put on makeup. So sticking with toiletries, I pretty much brought everything you can imagine. Extra hair ties are important for me. Brush, my own little mini brush. I bought this as a travel size. It was really helpful to have. Dry shampoo, but I didn't use it. I bought these little telly tie hair ties to have because I thought they were cute. Just extra hair ties in general is important to me. I brought my glass holder, my glass cleaner. This is the chapstick that I brought. It's the Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Organic Lip Balm. I think they have an unscented one too, which I probably would have gotten if I would have known about before I bought this one, but this was really nice to have, again, because it was so dry, such dry air there. I brought a curling iron. That was a joke. In regards to what I was wearing in the hospital, I am somebody who likes to get into my own clothes as soon as possible. I hate the birthing gown. It's just so cumbersome. There's so many like drawstrings and like it opens up in the back and it's a weird length and like it's just uncomfortable for me. Some people like to stay in that the entire time, but for you, you're gonna have to know like what is most comfortable for you and go off of that. So because I knew I wanted to get in my own clothes, I brought my own nighttime nursing bra. This is just one that opens up in the front rather than coming unclasped like my nursing tank does here, because I wanted to have options. I know that I want to wear my own clothes, but I don't know what's going to be the most comfortable exactly. So I brought a couple different options. I brought the nursing bra. I also brought nursing pads just in case, but typically I don't need that initially in the beginning because you're waiting on your milk to come in for a couple days. I did bring 2 nursing tanks because for me that's the most comfortable thing to wear, but they make like nursing, tons of different types of nursing tanks, tons of different types of nursing bras. Obviously they make like nursing clothing. Maybe that would be more comfortable for you to wear. They make nursing nightgowns. Maybe that would be more comfortable for you to wear. But for me, I love just being in a nursing tank with a shawl to go over my shoulders in case it's cold, and then super comfortable pants. I'm wearing the most comfortable leggings. I'm for sure gonna link them down for you guys below. They're amazing for pregnancy, postpartum, people who have had C-sections, and just in general, they're so comfy. They're from Target, super affordable. I hope they still have them in stock by the time I edit this video. I will link them down. If anything, check out those leggings down below. They've been so nice. So another thing that I brought was a prettier shawl. It's this little lacy cover up. This is from Pink Blush. It's shorter sleeved, but it does go kind of like longer. And I was gonna wear this for pictures. I still brought it because I was like, maybe I will have Donald take a picture of me in it. But again, my recovery just went completely different than I thought it was going to. So I didn't end up using this, but I would suggest bringing it just in case you feel like you want to take a photo. Even if you don't have the option to have a photographer there. I brought a phone charger, of course. I actually left it at the hospital. I still have to go get it. The thing I will say about my charging cord for my phone is that I bought extra long ones off of Amazon, and that was so helpful because usually there's not a plug-in like right next to the hospital bed. So I bought a 10-foot cord. I've had these forever actually, but I didn't buy them specifically for the hospital, but I specifically took them to the hospital because I knew that I wanted a longer cord. So I would definitely recommend getting a cord that's long enough for you guys to use your phone or whatever device you want to use in the hospital bed. We also brought lots of entertainment stuff. So I ended up bringing the baby book because I thought I was gonna have time to work on that. I might have if things would have gone differently. So take that as you want to. If you want to spend time like being efficient and getting a baby book worked on productively, then I would definitely say that is a good suggestion. If you don't feel like doing that and you just want to kind of spend that time in the hospital just being, then don't bring a baby book. We did bring our own iPad and iPad chargers so that we could watch things off of the Wi-Fi and things that my husband had downloaded to the iPad, because the TV that was at our hospital, it just didn't have access to a lot of stuff. And knowing I was going into an induction and I didn't know how long that was going to take, I wanted to have like comforting shows or comforting entertainment that we could play at the time. So things like The Office, or different things on Hulu that we watched. It was really helpful to have that as just a way to pass the time. I did not bring my entire purse, but I did bring my wallet. In general, I've heard it's not the safest thing to bring really valuable things to the hospital. So I would try to slim down on those items specifically that you're bringing with you. I've just heard some crazy stories about some crazy things getting stolen. Another item for me and for my husband that was really important were pillows. So we actually went through our house and we had some leftover pillows from like the guest room situation, and my husband had like an older pillow that we replaced right before we went to the hospital. And I'm not kidding, we took 4, we might have even taken 6 pillows in with us. And our idea was that we would take our own pillows and then we would just leave them there because they were kind of on the end of their life, if you will. And that's what we did. And it was so convenient because every hospital that I've been to, now I've been to 2, each experience, they have like an extreme lack of comfort items. The blankets suck, the sheets suck, the pillows suck, and they barely have any of them. So for me and my experience, it's really important for me to have at least one comfortable pillow, especially in a situation where you're laboring. It's just one of my comforting things. So I'm not kidding you guys, when we rolled up, it was like so many pillows. A lot of people looked at us like, oh, okay. And then at the end, they were like, that was a really smart idea for you to bring your own pillows and to leave pillows there so that you weren't bringing home dirty pillows. Had to change the battery. I'm gonna try to speed this video up. I feel like it's taking forever already. So my mom packed us a care package, and in that care package there was a ton of snacks. There were also water bottles. There was the lotion I told you guys about, the toothbrush and flossers, the disposable ones. It was all extremely helpful to have, specifically for our experience during a pandemic. Donald was allowed like night 1 to go to the community little kitchen area that was back in labor and delivery. But after that evening passed, like once I gave birth, he was not allowed to go anywhere. And if he did, he wasn't allowed to then come back. So the fact that we had our own snacks, our own water on deck, all of our own stuff was so helpful because the kitchen was open, but it was limited. They don't provide snacks. They barely provide a meal for yourself. And in our situation, the meal gets split between the parents, or the dad has to like go without basically during a pandemic. It was just extremely helpful to have our own food so that we were like nourished and felt comforted in that sense of not having to worry about like, are we going to be able to get food for dinner or for lunch or enough food. A lot of times we would order stuff and it was out, or they would get our order wrong and they would only bring half the stuff, and so it was like barely a meal for one person. The nurses, they were caring in a sense for me and my water intake, but Donald like never was asked. Maybe one time was asked if he wanted a drink, and they gave him like a really small styrofoam cup. And I think that's because usually the visitors can come and go. They can go to the cafeteria, they can go to the gift shop, but during a pandemic you cannot. So it was just so nice to have our own snacks, our own drinks, so that my one visitor, my husband, was also like semi-able to take care of himself. The other thing I brought myself was my own hand sanitizer. So it was just a travel size one that I got before all this pandemic stuff started. I was thankful that I did that because I now have it on my diaper bag. But I brought this with me to the hospital, and I was so glad that I did because they were running out of hand sanitizer in our room because of they're using it so much. Every single person coming and going is using it, and it ran out, and it took them forever to get like a replacement. So it was just helpful to have our own. I also brought my own Lysol wipes that I had from, again, previously before all of this crazy stuff started with the pandemic. And it was just nice to be able to have like a disinfectant wipe for anything that I needed when especially the baby was there. I'm giving myself raw beauty Christy vibes because I am hopping into the video while I'm editing it. I just remembered some things while I'm sitting down and editing my what's in my hospital bag video that I wanted to include that I thought were important before we move on to the babies section of the video. And the first one is a robe. I did bring my own robe. I used a short sleeve, shorter robe that I had my first time around, my first labor and delivery. Picked it up from Target. I didn't remember using it a lot in my first labor and delivery, but I'm not really sure why, because it came in so handy. I think that it's really handy as a plus size person, especially, to have a robe, because then you can just wear your hospital gown and not be super concerned about like wrapping it around you and whether or not it's gonna fit, whether or not it's gonna be too tight, because then your backside's gonna be showing. Their option is to actually use a second hospital gown like a robe and put it on your backside if the hospital gown doesn't fit. And I just didn't even want to deal with that because, as I told you guys, I don't really care for the hospital gown anyways. So having the robe to just like be more comfortable about not having anything on basically underneath the hospital gown was really helpful. It does get dirty, so it can't be something that you're obsessed with or that you're going to be upset if it gets ruined. Just a heads up, that's pretty much anything that you take to the hospital. On that note, the bag that I took was washable, so it's a Vera Bradley like cotton style bag. Something that I was able to bring home, throw in the wash. That was important to me to think of because, like I've mentioned with the hand sanitizer and the Lysol wipes, like, and the pillows, like leaving the pillows behind, I was just really concerned about making it as clean as possible of a situation for us, especially during the pandemic. The next thing I wanted to mention to you guys are slippers. I actually had some old slippers that I found in my basement, like a pair of hard-soled slipper shoes from Target that were super cheap anyways to begin with. And I took those with me because otherwise they didn't give me socks at all, ever. They didn't give me like gripper socks like I've seen in some other people's videos. So it was nice to not have to walk like barefoot on the ground. And then I just ended up tossing those, getting rid of them again out of like a cleanliness issue. Same thing with my hospital shower flip-flops. I ended up buying a disposable pair of flip-flops to wear in the shower, and it was really helpful. I bought Donald a pair as well, so both of us didn't have to worry about being barefoot in the shower, which to me is gross. So now I'm going to go through what I brought for the baby. Again, a lot of this is based off of our own preferences. So I ended up bringing our sound machine, which is a nightlight and a sound machine. I ended up doing this, I think in my first pregnancy, I just brought the Dome, which is the sound machine. But this time around, we ended up bringing our Hatch Rest. I swear by this machine. I love it so much. We have one in Kala's room and in the baby's room now, and in our room actually, because it's just been so helpful in what we've acquired over the years. So again, it's a sound machine, nightlight, and you can use it as a time to rise timer for like toddlers who want to get out of bed and you don't want them to quite yet. You can set kind of limits with that. This is really helpful to have at night when you're breastfeeding. You can turn on a little bit of light, have the sound machine for the baby because there's so many noises going on in the hospital. So we just brought it in the box, put it up, set it up. It was amazing to have, honestly, a huge luxury, and something maybe you don't think about. We also brought our own mini sanitizer. I got this really cool Munchkin sanitizer. It's a portable one. You're supposed to be able to put it in your diaper bag or take it in your purse. You can sanitize things like pacifiers or like smaller items. I, again, will link that down below for you guys. It was under $20 and it was super helpful to have specifically for pacifiers because they got dropped and you're like, ugh, I'm in the hospital, I want to sanitize that. Donald was sanitizing as much as he could while he was there. It's so easy to use. It's rechargeable, or you can put batteries in it. 100% an amazing product. I brought 3 different kinds of swaddles because I have them from my first pregnancy and labor and delivery, and because I just don't know what kind of swaddle the new baby is going to like. So I bought kind of one of these, which is more traditional, the Velcro ones, another one that's just a little bit of a different style Velcro, and then a traditional swaddle where you actually manually do your own swaddling. I also brought a receiving blanket. I love receiving blankets. You can use them as burp cloths, you can use them as blankets, you can use them to cover the car seat. Like, there's just so many things you can use them for. You can put them down to put the baby on, to change their diaper. So I brought one of these, and I just for sure have this on me like at all time in my diaper bag or whatever room in the house. I did bring a sentimental blanket that we got for our baby shower, our rainbow blanket. It's really cute because I thought we were going to take pictures and life just didn't let us do that, at least yet. But I did bring stuff because I thought that we were going to have some time to take pictures. So if you're thinking about doing that yourself during this pandemic period, or if you're having a photographer come, if you're watching this video and it's like later on and you're just wondering in general what to have, definitely make sure to bring the outfits, the accessories, things like that that you want to have the photographer take pictures of, especially if they're not bringing their own stuff, which I don't think they do when they come to the hospital, but maybe you can coordinate that with your own photographer. In this bag, I have a little wet dry bag that I got from Target. I think the brand is Itsy Ritsy. This is really helpful to have because you can kind of throw just whatever in here, dirty laundry from the baby in the hospital that you want to take home, but you don't really have a place to put. So in here I put the baby brush, and I brought a couple different pacifiers. I will end up linking the pacifier that she loves the most down below in the description bar. It's also Itsy Ritsy. It's from Target. I brought a Itsy Ritsy rattle just because, you know, I don't know, maybe she'll like that in the hospital. I ended up bringing a couple hats, a couple pairs of outfits. I just don't know like what exactly the weather was going to be like when we left. So I brought like long sleeve onesies with pants. I brought hats, like I said. I brought a going home outfit that she didn't end up wearing. I ended up bringing lots of gownies. I really like the gownies, especially in the hospital, like those first few days. I also brought sleepers, zip up sleepers, and I would bring like at least 2 of each of those that you for sure know that you're going to use. Like hour 1, she had a blowout and that ended up getting all over her gownie, and if that would have been the only one that we had, then I do think the hospital provides you with some clothing if you're not able to bring your own, or if you just have no idea what you want to bring and you just would rather rely on that. They also provided diapers. This time they had Pampers, like regular Pampers, and they had regular Huggies. And they also had regular Pampers wipes. For us, we have a preference. I have a preference over what my babies use. I want them to have like a more pure formula, least amount of chemicals. That's something that I would really prefer, and something that I've seen a better skin reaction to in the past. So we do bring our own diapers. We use Pampers Pure, both the diapers and the wipes. So I did bring my own, and I didn't bring enough. My dad ended up having to bring us some mittens. These are really important to have, in my opinion, those first few weeks, especially because the baby just kind of has no control of what they're doing and they have sharper nails. I got these off of Etsy. They're so cute. They're really soft. I'll link these down below. One thing I forgot to bring that I should have brought is ointment, like diaper rash ointment. We ended up getting some from the hospital. This is Desitin, their maximum strength, but in general I prefer to use like Aquaphor, so I really wish I would have put some of that in my bag. Socks, I brought socks because if you have the gownies or if you're doing like onesies, then a lot of times they're not footed. Some of them are, some of them aren't, but just in case you bring stuff that doesn't have feet attached to it already, definitely remember to bring socks. We also brought our infant car seat, which I think is kind of a no-brainer, like something you have to have to go home with your baby. So we did bring our infant car seat, and we had a car seat cover, which was really important to have as you're being wheeled out of the hospital through a pandemic. And we also used a thicker blanket on top of her actual lap to cover her, and that was really helpful because it ended up being colder. But even if it's not colder, Babies can get cold really fast, so just making sure to have like an actual blanket for them in their lap, and then that's in addition to like the actual cover that we used on top of the car seat. Another piece that I still have on the car seat that I will link for you guys down below, which was awesome, is they now make a portable sound machine that you can attach to the car seat, and that was really nice. Of course, I am on a time limit with this video, so that's going to be it for today's video. Like I said, I'm going to link everything that I absolutely loved down below in the description bar for you guys to check out directly. And then I also will include my comprehensive list in regards to everything that I packed initially, maybe some of those things I didn't use for whatever reason, just so you guys know my starting point as well. If you guys are giving birth during this crazy pandemic craziness, I just want to say my heart goes out to you. You are a badass, and you're going to be able to get through this. And if you guys are concerned about your hospital not allowing you to have a visitor, I highly recommend you doing research in regards to your rights as a laboring mother in having at least one visitor with you. One support person is actually what they're calling them during your labor and delivery experience. I also really implore you to do your research regarding your rights on symptoms of COVID-19, whether that's your baby has symptoms, your infant has symptoms, or if you or your support person has symptoms. I really encourage you to do research on your rights regarding isolation from one another, how breastfeeding affects that situation, just so that you're going into it knowing the questions you can ask, the things you can demand, and the things that you can actually have a right to have as a part of your experience. If you guys have any other questions that maybe I skipped over, or you feel like I skipped over or didn't include in this video, leave me a comment down below or DM me over on my Instagram page directly. I do again plan on sharing more of my specific experience here very soon in another video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and appreciated it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for being patient. Bye.